a warm welcome to this fourth societal impact of pain meeting that has started already yesterday with a session of the Focus Group 1 and will be continued this afternoon today in this hall here with our Focus Group 2. Maybe for those who have already attended the yesterday meeting, there is some redundant information in my opening remarks, but nevertheless for those who are here for the first time, and I think this is the majority of the audience, I may say a few words about the background of the Societal Impact of Pain initiative. As you know, this Societal Impact of Pain initiative is a joint initiative between the European Federation of IASP chapters EFIC and the pharmaceutical company Grünenthal, who is supporting and funding this event. EFIC takes the responsibility for the scientific program and the scientific content. We are very happy that, can you hear me? Yeah. We are very happy that the Irish presidency of the EU Council has recently also endorsed this SIP meeting as an associated event. So we are now collaborating and we are supported by three official EU institutions. One is the EU Parliament, where we are also today. One is the EU Commission, and one is the Irish presidency of the EU Council. And I would like to thank all three institutions already now for their support, and of course also Grünenthal for their support. Let me just say a few words about the European Pain Federation EFIC, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year under the motto 20 years of building bridges. And indeed, we are building bridges because we are a multidisciplinary professional organization in the field of pain medicine. We are representing 36 national pain societies across Europe with some 20,000 scientists, physicians, nurses, physiotherapists, psychologists and other healthcare professionals involved in pain treatment or pain research. And as you can see here, we have three major aims. The first one is to develop pain medicine in Europe. The second one is to ensure a broad availability of best practice management. And the third one is the increase of public awareness of chronic pain as a disease in its own right and as a tremendous societal challenge. So the latter two of these three major goals, the latter two are in the limelight of this two-day SIP meeting that started yesterday and that we will finalize today. The Societal Impact of Pain is an initiative that has the major goal to make chronic pain a priority on the political agenda. With the past three SIP symposia between 2010 and 2012, we made progress in the recognition of chronic pain not only as a tremendous burden for the individual pain patient and for their carers, but also to make it visible as a tremendous challenge to the healthcare systems, the social system, to economy and to the society as a whole. The first SIP symposium in 2010, also here in Brussels, set the scene and established this multi-stakeholder network as a platform for sharing best practice across Europe. During the second SIP symposium that was held here in this room in the EU Parliament in 2011, the SIP Roadmap for Action was launched, and this SIP Roadmap for Action gives 7 strategic goals how the EU and the EU member states should address the societal impact of pain. During the third SIP Symposium 2012 in Copenhagen, we were already in the lucky position to discuss some concrete best practice examples from different EU member states, and we could already reflect during this meeting how different EU member states succeeded in implementing at least a few of these policy dimensions, of these policy domains, of these 7 strategic goals of the roadmap in their healthcare system, for example. Now, with this SIP 2013 focus group meeting, we have changed a little bit our approach, and we have changed also our strategy. We will have 2 focus groups, and the first one, as I mentioned already, was yesterday, and there we discussed the question of how to measure improved chronic non-malignant pain management in the EU. So the whole session was about valid, high-quality, evidence-based indicators for indicating the progress or the change resulting from a change in the national policy, for example, with pain management. And the objective was to come up with some SIP recommendations of such evidence-based European quality indicators, and we made a good progress. Of course, this is not completed. This is an ongoing process, and we have installed a task force to continue with this. But we had a lot of agreement already on the major key indicators that should be then worked on in more detail in the future. Today, in the SIP Focus Group 2, we will discuss chronic pain in the EU working population, and as you see here on the slide, our objective is to develop a so-called SIP proposal for action based on best practice national examples of rehabilitation and reintegration of chronic pain patients into the workforce. So we will use these best practice examples from different European countries. We'll discuss it here in our meeting and will finally develop a SIP proposal for action that can be signed by all the representatives of stakeholders present here and can then be also published on the website. So, of course, you all know that there is an increasing impact during the transition from acute to chronic pain on the individual pain sufferer. And that means that such an individual pain patient will develop not only the impression of helplessness or develop depression, and this will then even escalate further to the avoidance of physical but also the avoidance of social activities, and finally it will end with frequent sick leaves, and with invalidism. In parallel to this escalation in the chronicity of pain, there is also a dramatic increase in costs for the society. And with this session today, we pay tribute to the fact that 70% of people living with chronic pain are of working age. Pain is the second most common reason given by claimants of invalidity benefits in all our countries. And when we just take Great Britain as an example, only in Great Britain 3.8 billion British pounds are spent every year on invalidity benefits for those with chronic pain. And besides the £500 million of British pounds paid on prescription of analgesics, the total costs, the indirect as well as the direct total costs of back pain in UK in 1 year sums up to 12.3 billion British pound. That is 1.5% of the gross domestic product. So this gives you a dimension of what we are discussing and what we are talking about today. And you see in this figure, again from Great Britain, that 75% of this huge amount of money, 12.3 billion British pound, is spent because of loss in productivity and loss of work days. And only 9% of this sum is directly spent for medical service like inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, day care, and so on.